Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to kick off today's presentation. Today, we're talking about how to test your emotional maturity. This is a really important topic that can help you understand yourself better. We'll explore practical ways to assess your emotional growth and resilience. So, let's get started and dive into this journey of self-discovery together. Understanding emotional maturity is really about more than just managing your feelings. It's about how you respond to social and relational situations with stability, awareness, and integrity. When we talk about romantic dynamics, especially between men and women, there are often subtle tests that can reveal a person's emotional strength or vulnerability. These tests might seem small, but they can tell us a lot about someone's true emotional state. Drawing from psychological research, behavioral studies, and even evolutionary theory, we can look at different scenarios that help us assess emotional maturity. Today, I'll walk you through 20 such scenarios so you can better understand how emotional maturity shows up in real-life interactions. Remember, these insights are key to building healthier, more authentic relationships and understanding yourself better along the way. Let's take a closer look at tests 1 and 2, which focus on communication patterns. First, the late text test. When she intentionally delays her reply, it's rarely about being busy. Psychologically, this delay mirrors the concept of variable rewards, similar to what slot machines use to keep gamblers hooked. If you find yourself panicking, double texting, or getting irritated, it often reveals dependence on external validation. A more mature response is to be patient and keep your composure. This shows that your emotional state isn't dictated by others' responses, which is a key indicator of emotional independence. Now, moving on to the tell me about your ex trap. Questions like these are designed to probe for unresolved bitterness or insecurity. If someone responds with resentment, it signals they're still attached to the past. If they brag or boast, it might reveal hidden insecurities. Psychologists call this projection, where internal wounds surface through social triggers. True emotional maturity shows when you answer calmly and objectively, without defensiveness. Recognizing these patterns helps us understand not just others, but also our own emotional health, aligning with the overall theme of developing self-awareness and resilience in relationships. Let's talk about tests 3 to 5, which focus on behavioral responses. Starting with the "I forgot my wallet" moment, this is a classic test of whether you're easily exploited. Behavioral economics highlights the concept of sunk costs, which means sometimes we invest resources blindly, even when it's not in our best interest. A mature individual, however, responds with measured generosity. They help without overextending themselves or harboring resentment afterward. It's about maintaining balance and self-control. Next is the "I am bored" trap. When someone says they're bored, it's often less about the activity and more about testing your emotional stability. Behavioral psychology calls this stimulus control, how we react to external cues. Weak reactions might involve scrambling for attention or acting out, while mature responses involve staying grounded and demonstrating internal consistency. It's about showing you're steady regardless of external circumstances. Finally, the jealousy seed. When someone casually mentions another man, it's a subtle test of your emotional regulation. Evolutionary psychology suggests that jealousy is natural, but overreacting reveals insecurity. A mature person acknowledges the mention calmly, without panic, showing confidence and trust in themselves and the relationship. These responses are crucial because they reflect emotional resilience and self-awareness, which are key themes in overall personal growth. Let's take a closer look at tests 6 through 8, which focus on identity and boundaries. First, the "you are too nice" comment. Sometimes, seemingly positive feedback can actually be a way to test your compliance. Just like employees might adjust their behavior to please authority, a weak man might overcompensate to avoid conflict. In contrast, a mature individual maintains their identity and integrity, responding confidently without feeling the need to justify themselves unnecessarily. It's a sign of emotional strength. Next, we have the silent treatment. Withholding attention is a subtle but powerful social control tactic. Children's behavioral studies show that people naturally chase what disappears, making silence a tool to manipulate. True emotional maturity shows when someone stays composed in the face of silence, understanding that it's a signal, not a crisis. Maintaining your calm demonstrates boundaries and resilience. Finally, the hypothetical future trap involves questions about what-if scenarios, like living together or planning vacations. These questions are designed to probe your boundaries and assess how realistic your decision-making is. Research on negotiation indicates that impulsively agreeing to these scenarios can be a sign of desperation. Mature individuals respond with clarity and honesty, grounding their decisions in reality rather than fantasy. All these tests are about understanding how well you know your boundaries and stay true to your identity, which ultimately reinforces your emotional independence and strength in relationships. Let's talk about tests 9 through 11, which focus on ego and vision. First, we have the tiny insult. This test examines how resilient your ego is. Social psychology shows us that subtle provocations, those small comments or jabs, can often trigger defensive reactions. The key here is emotional maturity, recognizing that these comments are just tests and not letting them throw you off. Maintaining your composure is crucial. It means not reacting aggressively or insecurely, but instead staying grounded and confident. Next is the Tell Me Your Dream test. This one is about your vision and conviction. When someone asks about your goals, it's a way to gauge how committed and clear you are about your purpose. Motivational psychology points out that hesitation or uncertainty can signal a lack of follow-through. A mature response is to articulate your goals with clarity, showing that you have a purpose and that you're reliable. It's about demonstrating confidence in your vision. Finally, we have the compare you to other men trap. This is a common manipulation designed to trigger insecurity. Social psychology reveals that such comparisons are often used as leverage. Weak men might feel pressured to imitate others, losing their individuality. But a mature man knows his worth and remains secure in his identity. He doesn't fall into the trap of feeling inferior or trying to measure up to arbitrary standards. Instead, he stays true to himself and his unique path. All these tests are about understanding how you handle ego and vision under pressure. They reveal your emotional resilience and confidence, which are essential for authentic strength and leadership. Let's delve into some manipulation tactics you might encounter, starting with the change your style suggestion. This involves requests to alter appearance or behavior, which often leverage what's called the foot-in-the-door effect. Essentially, small concessions, like agreeing to minor changes, can lead to larger demands over time. The key here is emotional maturity. It's about asserting personal boundaries and maintaining your integrity while still remaining open to constructive dialogue. It's not about blind compliance, but about respectful negotiation. Next, there's the fake emergency tactic. This involves creating manufactured crises to test how someone prioritizes their actions and exercises discernment. Social experiments have shown that weaker individuals tend to drop everything impulsively, rushing to respond without thinking. In contrast, emotionally mature people respond thoughtfully. They help when it's appropriate, but also know when to maintain self-respect and not get caught up in unnecessary chaos. Finally, we have the "Are you even listening?" trap. This is when someone accuses you of inattentiveness to challenge your emotional composure. Studies on communication reveal that such accusations are less about the facts and more about asserting dominance. The real measure of emotional maturity is how confidently and calmly you respond, without guilt or panic. Staying composed in these moments not only preserves your dignity, but also reinforces your emotional strength. All of these tactics highlight the importance of emotional maturity in navigating complex social situations. Recognizing them helps us respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, maintaining control and integrity in our interactions. Let's talk about tests 15 and 16, which focus on patience and stability. First, test 15, the test of lateness. This is a simple but powerful way to measure patience and self-control. When you're made to wait, it really reveals your ability to stay calm and composed. Research shows that anxious individuals often display dependency. They might get visibly upset or impatient, whereas more mature individuals remain calm, signaling that they have a steady emotional grounding. This kind of patience under delay is crucial, especially in leadership and decision-making. Now, moving on to test 16, the sudden mood flip. This test examines how well you maintain stability when your emotional tone shifts rapidly. Think about situations where emotions change quickly, stressful moments, surprises, and how you respond. Military training, for example, uses similar techniques to assess resilience. Emotional maturity here is about staying steady, resisting the temptation to mirror external volatility. It's about maintaining composure, which is a key trait for effective leadership and trustworthiness. Both these tests connect to our overall theme of emotional intelligence, showing that patience and stability aren't just nice qualities, but essential skills that reveal how well someone can handle pressure and uncertainty. Now, let's look at some of the final challenges we might face in testing emotional maturity. First up is the subtle downgrade. When someone minimizes your praise, like saying, "That was cute," they're actually testing your self-image and how you respond to small labels. Psychology shows that repeated minor labels can shape your identity over time. A truly mature person doesn't internalize these small reductions of their value. Instead, they maintain confidence and stay composed. Next is the "I need space" hint. When someone asks for space, it's often a test of dependency, trying to see if you're clingy or respectful of boundaries. Research on relationships indicates that weak reactions involve chasing or pleading, which signals insecurity. On the other hand, mature responses respect the other person's autonomy while still maintaining your own stability. Then we have the praise another man trap. Complimenting someone else is a way to test your security and ego. In social hierarchies, losing your composure over external validation can undermine your status. Emotional maturity means staying confident and unaffected, regardless of external comparisons or external praise. Finally, there's the shift the blame move. When someone assigns minor blame, they're often testing your compliance or trying to manipulate. Studies of authority figures show that impulsive guilt reveals a lack of strength. A mature individual takes measured responsibility, knowing when accountability is genuine and when it's being used as a tool for manipulation. These challenges are crucial because they reveal how well you embody emotional maturity under pressure. And that brings us to the conclusion. As we've seen, emotional maturity isn't about making grand gestures or dramatic displays. Instead, it's revealed through the small, everyday interactions that define our relationships. These 20 scenarios we've discussed illustrate how qualities like stability, self-awareness, and groundedness are really put to the test in real-life dynamics. What sets mature individuals apart is their ability to maintain composure, set and uphold healthy boundaries, and respond thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. Developing this kind of emotional intelligence isn't just important for romantic success. It's fundamental for building resilience and being effective in all our interpersonal relationships. So remember, it's the subtle, consistent ways we handle ourselves that truly reflect our emotional maturity and contribute to healthier, more fulfilling connections.